Keeping Quiet by Pablo Neruda. So, student, let's initiate this chapter through the theme. And what is the theme of this chapter? The theme is transition of the world through introspection. In fact, Pablo Neruda, the poet of this poem, brings before us a unique concept, unprecedented concept through this poem. The concept is reformation of the world by not doing anything. Yes, change of world by not doing anything. In fact, to understand this poem, there are two themes which are the best one. The first is, if words are silver, silence is gold. So this tells the power of not speaking anything. Sometimes by not speaking anything, we can speak which in fact words cannot convey. And the second is sometimes an untold story sounds better than told story. The key word of this poem is introspection. What is introspection? If you go into the dictionary, you would find introspection means deep meditation. But deeper meaning of introspection is an act of self assessment through meditation. So this poem tells us that how through self-assessment, we can change the world, we can change ourselves also. The poem in fact tells that how we have divided the world, in different regions, but this demarcation, this division of the world can be over, through deep thinking. So in this way, the poem suggests us that through meditation, introspection, there can be brought universal brotherhood, which has never been done before through so many practices, but of course by not speaking something surprisingly, this unique concept can be developed. So in this way, the theme of the poem is unique, unprecedented. What is called unprecedented? A thing which has never happened before. So now let's initiate the explanation of this poem systematically. So the very first two lines are, now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. So the poet asks us to initiate counting up to 12, and after that we will start the systematic session of introspection. You must be surprised why particularly 12. So the word 12 denotes 12 months of the year or 12 hours of the clock. Symbolically, the poet is suggesting us to keep going with the session of introspection forever. We must do this session every day, in every month of the year. That is what will establish a universal brotherhood. How? We will study further. So he asks us to count up to 12, and after that he will initiate the session of introspection. I in fact studied a unique explanation about it. What is that? I would love to share, and in fact I am much in fact sure about that. The poet in fact suggests that by counting up to 12, he can deviate his attention from the ongoing happening of the world. Otherwise, in the world there are so many distractions which would not allow us to meditate so deeply. But if we count up to 12, so by the time we reach the number 12, we will be able to distract our attention from the ongoing happenings of the world, which will allow us to initiate the session of introspection systematically. So in next paragraph, the poet says, for once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. The poet asks us to be quiet for a while. He asks us not to use any language for a while by keeping quiet, by going into our introspection. In fact, in this paragraph, in these two lines, the poet has shown great philosophy. And that philosophy is all about linguistic chauvinism. You must have studied linguistic chauvinism in the very first chapter, the last lesson. What is chauvinism? Blind belief belonging the best. That's what is called chauvinism. So there are people who are superior to their language, They are superior about their language. They believe because of any particular language they are better than others. But if the poet believes no language is spoken, this false superiority complex can of course be eradicated from the world. So that's what he asks us to do, not to speak any language, because it will end the differences which we feel on account of our language. Then he asks us, let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. He asks us to be inactive for a while and not move our arms so much. So see, in this line there is a poetic device which is called pun, P-U-N, pun. What is pun? When a statement has two meanings, that's what is called pun. So how pun is there? He asks us not to move our arms. Arm means hands. It means in first meaning he asks us to be inactive for a while, and in second meaning arm means weapons. He asks us to cease down, to stop our destructive activities for a while. He asks us to rest our arms, and of course he asks us to stop our destructive activity by going into the session of introspection. It would be an exotic moment, without rush, without engine. So what would make this moment exotic, special, distinguished? See, it would be exotic moment because the session of introspection, will establish universal brotherhood, love, and of course this has happened through introspection by not speaking ever, by not speaking anything. So this is of course a unique thing. The world has never experienced this thing before. Such immense tranquility, peace, serenity has never been experienced in the world before, when there is no hubbub, no humdrum, no noise. The whole world seems to be covered under the blanket of tranquility. So this will make this moment a unique and exotic moment where there won't be any rush, people won't be rushing around, and of course there won't be running of engines. So in this way the whole world would be suddenly so strangely calm, quiet, tranquil. This will make this moment an exotic moment, and we would all be together in a sudden strangeness. And suddenly and strangely, we will all be together. How will we be together? Because through the session of introspection, the entire world will be doing the same thing. We all will be doing the same thing, and of course, by doing the same thing, will establish a universal fraternity, a universal brotherhood among us, which has never happened before. So in this way, this moment would be a unique moment, unprecedented. What is called unprecedented? A thing which has never happened before. That's what is called unprecedented, because this introspection will in fact bring us together. We will be connected with each other. So that is why it would be a strange thing which has never happened before. There are so many movements which have been done to establish universal peace, but this little act of not speaking anything, or being quiet for a while, being inactive for a while, will establish universal brotherhood. So next paragraph is, fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales. So see, the session of introspection will establish universal peace, and there won't be any activity going on across the world. So that is why there are some certain activities, they would come to a standstill. Likewise, fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales. Fishermen who are hunting whales in the sea, they would also do introspection, and in this way their act of harming whales, killing whales, would also come to a standstill. So student, this is surface meaning, but there is a great philosophical meaning also over here. So who are fishermen? Fishermen symbolically are we people. Yes, the poet Pablo Neruda is indicating towards us through the symbol of fisherman. In fact, we all are fishermen who are harming whales. Symbolically, we people are destructing our flora and fauna in the name of so-called advancement. But if the session of introspection is commenced, these destructive activities to our nature, to our mother earth, would also come to a standstill. So in this way, fishermen will not harm the whales. Likewise, we would not destroy our flora and fauna, our nature. Let's move forward. And the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. Now again, who are salt gatherer? Salt gatherer are we people. See, the surface meaning of the lines tells that the people who are salt gatherer, they will have time to look at their hurt hands. See, in this rat race of advancement, of getting materialistic benefit, worldly benefit, we don't have time to think about our own pain, about our own injuries. We never realize that there are so many wounds which are there in our own hand. In fact, self inflicted injuries are there. Those injuries which we have given to ourselves, but in this rat race of advancement, we never get time to think about them. So, see what will happen. Salt gatherer will see his hurt hands. His hands have got so many injuries in the process of earning money, but he never has got time to think about it. But through the session of introspection, he will do so. He will think about his pain. He will see his hurt hands. Likewise, we people, again, salt gatherer, they are the symbol of humans, mankind at large, will have time to think about their own self-inflicted injuries. There are so many injuries which of course have become a part of our life, but in the mad race of advancement, materialistic gains, profit, worldliness, we never think about them. But the session of introspection will allow us to think about our follies, our bad act, our injuries, and of course will allow us to think how to cure these problems in our life. Now let's see the next paragraph. What does the poet speak? He says, those who prepare green wars with gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors. So first of all, who are those? Those are politicians, statesmen, bureaucrats, and of course scientists. So what they are intending? They are intending to go for green wars. Now what is green war? Green wars mean war with chemical. So see, those means all these politicians, scientists, statesmen, they will still go on with ancient tendency. And what is that tendency called? That tendency is called imperialism, extension of kingdom. Like in old time, the kings used to occupy the kingdom of their neighboring land. The same tendency has been going on in this scientific era as well. There are politicians who are not satisfied with the verge, with the boundary of their own country. They always eye on their neighborhood, and to win the world, to win in fact other states, they are developing destructive weapons. What is their aim? Their aim is to win the world by hook or by crook. So how do they intend to do the same? See, they are preparing green wars. Green wars means chemical weapons. Wars with gas. Wars with gas means poisonous gases, and wars with fire means destructive weapon. So they are intending to win the world with chemical weapons, poisonous gases, and destructive weapon. The poet in fact makes a great comment on this foul tendency of theirs. The poet says, maybe with these weapons they can fulfill their ambition of winning the world, but they have never thought about the upshot, the outcome of this tendency. They will of course win the war, but perhaps there won't last anyone to celebrate this victorious achievements of theirs, because these wars would create such havoc, such massacre in the world that there won't be anyone to celebrate, to salute this victorious achievement of theirs, because it would eradicate the mankind to the large. So that is why the poet appeals them not to indulge in such destructive act. He asks them to put on clean clothes. What is the sense of putting clean clothes? Here, in fact, another philosophy is there. What is that philosophy? Philosophy is our clothes determine our ideas also. It's quite obvious when you wear clean clothes or when you change your clothes, it will change your destructive thinking also. It's quite obvious. Again, I would say our clothes navigate our thinking as well. For example, if you are in a discotheque and if you are wearing lungi, so of course you cannot feel comfortable there. You can dance to only one song, and that is lungi dance, lungi dance, lungi dance. So of course, to be in perfect mood, we need suitable clothing as well. So the poet believes if these people wear clean clothes, and if they walk around their brothers, they must walk around their brother. What their brothers are doing? Their brothers are doing nothing. But by doing nothing, what they are doing? They are doing introspection. So the poet says they must change their clothes and they walk around their brothers who are doing nothing, who are doing actually introspection. So indirectly, the poet is suggesting them to introspect as well according to their brother in the shade of doing nothing, because it will allow us to think about the blunder, the false ball they have given to the world. So in this video we would cover till this. The remaining part would be covered in next video. Till then, take care of yourself. You are great, and so am I.